I like trains.
On this Friday evening, I decided to explore the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with my good friend Sebastian. In Pittsburgh, we rode almost the entire light rail system, which in Pittsburgh is called the T. Pictured right there is the entire map of the T with all of the lines included. We began our journey on the Silver/Library line at the North Side Station. There's a better picture of the station as it definitely looks modernized. We took the entire Library line outbound all the way to the final station, which was called Library. Right there is the train that we got on, and unfortunately, I do not know what locomotive that is, so I apologize. After taking the entire Library line outbound, we took part of the Library line back inbound to Washington Junction Station, and from there, we took the red line all the way outbound to its final destination, which is pictured right here, at South Hills Village. After arriving at the station, Sebastian and I walked over to the locomotive yard to spot something very interesting, which is pictured right there. A very old streetcar that used to be used on this line before it got retired. So this was very cool to see. Shortly after arriving at South Hills Village, we took the red line inbound to the First Avenue station. From here, we would take a shuttle train from First Avenue to Station Square, right over the Monongahela River. The shuttle train only goes between these two stations, so it doesn't have very far to go. Pictured right there in the distance, in that blue slope, is the Monongahela Incline, which from Station Square we would actually get on. The Monongahela Incline, which was built in 1870, is the first incline built in the United States, and it is actually older than the other incline in Pittsburgh, which is the Duquesne Incline. This was definitely an interesting ride, as there's one of my best pictures of the incline right before we went up. The top speed of the Monongahela Incline was 6 miles an hour, so we were slowly going up there. As we slowly made our way up the incline, I spotted a pair of train tracks that ran below us. Sebastian informed me that that was the Norfolk Southern Mongo line. Now this line gets a lot of traffic similar to the Pittsburgh line, and while we were in Pittsburgh, we actually heard 3 Norfolk Southern trains pass within the hour. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record any of them. As we reached the top, we got a great view of the city of Pittsburgh at an overlook spot. I must say, Pittsburgh is probably one of the prettiest cities I have ever been to. Now, after this, we ended up going down the incline to hopefully catch some CSX trains, as there were a pair of CSX tracks that ran parallel to the Monongahela River. You probably can see them if you look at the right corner of the screen. Now, I was glad we got off the incline when we did, because in a few seconds, you guys will see that we barely were able to catch a CSX loaded autorack train, Q216. Now, I do have one more thing to note before we get into the train video. Pictured right there is Heinz Field, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, 2 days after I took this picture, the Steelers knocked off my beloved Baltimore Ravens right there in Heinz Field in a 20-19 thriller. While the loss was unfortunate, I must respect the rivalry between the Ravens and the Steelers, which has lasted almost 2 decades. While this might sound biased coming from a Ravens fan like me, I must admit that the Ravens-Steelers rivalry is one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. Now, with that little football note aside, here's my video of CSX Q216 heading eastbound through Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's see what train this is. It's an autorack. Maybe Q216? Who knows? I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this is either the CSX Keystone sub or the Newcastle sub.
It connects to the Newcastle sub. Conrail. There's a DPU. YM3. Ooh! Nice! Shiny CM44. I was hoping that's what that was going to be, and it was. This is either Q216 or Q214. $72.58. Lots of autoracks. There were two autoracks that passed here previously that I missed. One of them was Q217 and another one was a Norfolk Southern autorack. You're not going to see any Norfolk Southern action here, as it's behind us here in Pittsburgh. I was actually riding the light rail service here. Not going to post anything from there, but that's what I'm doing, and doing some special rail fanning here. And this is well, it's definitely 216 or 214. But I got a feeling it's, well, I don't know. I see the end, I think. Yep. Yeah, I don't know what ID it is. Goes under the bridge. If you take a look, beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
After catching Q216, which was the only train we caught while at Station Square, Sebastian and I walked a little bit further to a station nearby to hopefully catch something else, which obviously we didn't. However, we did find this orange caboose sitting on display. Unfortunately, I do not remember what railroad this caboose used to belong to. After patiently waiting 35 minutes for absolutely nothing, Sebastian and I called it quits as we reboarded the subway local out of Station Square to go back across the Monongahela River to the First Avenue station. From there, we boarded the Red Line train outbound to go back across the jointed rail through Allentown, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, right as we boarded the Red Line train, I heard a horn coming from the east. As we went over the bridge, I noticed it was a CSX westbound mixed freight train, which was likely Q331. I guess that's my luck, but sometimes that's how it goes when rail fanning. Some days you get lucky, and some days you don't. Anyways, after arriving at the South Hills Junction station, Sebastian decided to give me some history regarding this area. Pictured here is the official South Hills Junction. As you can see, multiple tracks and multiple crossovers. Here's a better picture of South Hills Junction, as on the left are the used tracks and on the right are the almost abandoned / rarely used tracks. Here's a better picture of them, as well as the old South Hills Junction station. Now these tracks, which are jointed rail, are only used now in emergency situations or when the line gets too flooded. They used to be used all the time, but Port Authority decided to use the other tracks instead as they were in better condition. Now I also found this area really cool because of what you're about to see right here. This is the old turnaround track that the streetcars used to use back in the old days. Of course, Port Authority doesn't use the streetcars anymore as they are way outdated and unsafe for the rails. This building pictured here used to serve as the control center for the turnaround. In the building, a dispatcher would direct traffic both on the main line and the turnaround and would let the operators know when they have the clear to turn their streetcar around. I really thought this was cool to see, as it is a big part of this line's history. Here is one last look at the old South Hills Junction station featuring the jointed rail. Immediately after this, Sebastian and I boarded the blue line back inbound to the North Side station, where we would officially get off and end our fun night. This was quite the night to spend in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I absolutely enjoyed every second of it. Before I end this video, here is a picture of PNC Park, home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I didn't realize it until we got out of the station, but we actually parked in a parking garage right next to PNC Park. As a big baseball fan myself, along with being a football fan, I must admit that PNC Park is one of the prettiest stadiums in Major League Baseball. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Here is one last picture of CSX 7258 in its shiny YN3 paint scheme as a mid-DPU on Q216. Thank you guys so much once again. Have a great day out there, wherever you may be. Stay tuned for future content, and for now, this is the Old Main Guy, out.